when you look at the cornerback room, you return the likes of a Ronald Jackson and a Trevin Gradney, and Ronald Jackson started 4 games, including a couple in the playoffs as well. So that's plenty of experience. And then you bring in a Kenzel Lawler to the fold. And then at safety, Ryder Meyer, Jackson Lee. Grady, to what you were just saying, that he might not have been a starter all year. He was playing starter-type play count towards the end. So Jackson Lee into the fold, and then the safety, Krishawn Gordon, the transfer from Fresno State. So those would be as April flies. Great throw downfield. What a strike from Caden Hewitt down to Aaron Fonts. A big-time connection inside the red zone.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks, Caden Hewitt, keep your eyes on this young man, right? We've talked about 3 quarterbacks. We have not talked yet about number 16 out of Helena High, Caden Hewitt. And really, maybe the other day, Coach Houck might have been the most excited about the spring that Caden Hewitt has had. Now, obviously, he's another young man, Sean, that I had to try to unfortunately stop when he played for the Bengals, and he is a true gunslinger. And at times it can get him into a little bit of trouble, but as Coach Pease coaches him to be disciplined and to go through his read progressions, he has a ton of talent, maybe the most talent of anybody in the room, and if he keeps coming along, look out.
Yeah, and that's probably something that you have to learn, right, when you go from high school in Montana to playing at the next level, because when I would watch a lot of his games, he'd use his athleticism, he'd get out, he'd run around, he'd extend plays, and then use that arm talent to make plays outside of the pocket. It's harder to do that at the next level, as you know,
well,
and it's something you have to learn.
And it's true. Honestly, his junior year, he killed us by just being a playmaker. It was almost like he couldn't wait to just run and make plays outside of the pocket and use his eye. It was crazy. So his senior year, our goal was to just literally keep him in the pocket and make him throw from his progressions, and it was much more successful for us. So something he has to learn at this level, and obviously Coach Pease, a great quarterback coach, great teacher, and he started to come, and you're seeing it here. A shot to Barker. Caden Hewitt looking really good right now.
A redshirt sophomore, so still plenty of time to develop for Hewitt, but coaching staff loved what he did behind the scenes in the spring as the Maroon offense with the #1 offensive line out there again. From left tackle to right tackle, it will go Cannon Panfaloff, and then the new addition this year for the Griz, Everett Johnson, the 6'7" transfer from Cal's at left guard. Liam Brown is now snapping at center. Journey Grimsrud at right guard. Brandon Casey at right tackle. First team All-Big Sky, keeping the continuity on the right side of the line as Hewitt scrambling out of the pocket connects with B.J. Phillips. It'll be 1st and goal.
Well, and now think about this, right? If you're coaching the quarterback position and you can teach a young man to be disciplined and stay within his progressions inside the pocket, and then when he has to, he has the ability to get outside and do those kinds of things. Okay, now you're talking about someone real special.
We'll see if we can get our first touchdown of the night. Ryan Simpson on the near side. Instead, they'll give it off, and an easy run for Stevie Rocker Jr. Welcome to the end zone. Touchdown, Montana.
Well, and I wasn't sure if Stevie Rocker was going to use that big body and just say, let's go one-on-one here, lower the pads. But no, he decided to put a little juke on Rostad out of Hamilton right there. And nice little dip there with the hips and stiff arm and got in. But, yeah, he's an exciting addition to what was already a stacked and talented running back room.
Yeah, and that's where having all those big-bodied running backs can really help, because once you get into the goal line and you have all these dudes that you can hand the ball off to, that's where it's going to really pay dividends for Montana.
Extra point up and through from Johan Silver.
Well, and we know this too. I mean, Coach Houck, right? He likes to bang. He's all about physical, tough, hard-nosed, right? It's Bobby Ball. And so he has now the recipe for what he has tried to build from the day he became a head coach. A big, strong offensive line and now big backs. Now think about it. A defensive team comes in to try to stop Montana. You're not just talking about one running back that is going to punish you. Here comes another one and another one and another one. And so big, physical offensive line with running back after running back. I mean, as a defender, that is a long afternoon.
I'm glad that you brought that full circle, because really the vision of Bobby Ball and the vision of what it really takes to build an offense, or to build an offense that suits your personality. It takes time, Grady, and a lot of people want the instant results, but finally you let time marinate, maybe a year, 2 years longer than maybe some would want, but at the same time, that's why you have to allow that time for it to happen.
Well, and that's one thing that's so fun for me doing these games all these years, right? Covering Grizzly football and being the same age, just a little bit younger than Coach Houck, but Coach Houck was a GA my senior year, so we kind of have grown up together in the profession, and watching him mature. His first run was incredible, but when he came back, one of the first things he told me, he goes, I know the fans won't understand this, but things are different now. The Big Sky's different. FCS is different. It's not going to be like it was. I want it to be, but it's not. We are not going to just come out and dominate. It's going to take some time. And now, of course, you want it to happen tomorrow, but it did take some time. But he's got it where he wants it now.
And also, he will be the first to point out that even as they were building themselves up to last year, it wasn't like they were having bad seasons, right? But the difference between a quarterfinal run and being a legit national title contender, that is the leap that Montana made last year. Hewitt will dump it off in the flat. A lot of action for Asher Croy. Big-time collision near midfield.
Yeah, and that's one of the new linebackers, Vaikaho, and this is a big physical dude, and I saw him the first day of spring. It was like, wow, this guy certainly looks the part, as you could see him absolutely flying in there, and I think he's going to be a very welcomed addition to that linebacker core. We're also seeing Vince Genatone out there working with the linebackers. And Montana, obviously, they always have so many good linebackers. Like, that is just a position I'm really not worried about, Grady.
Yeah, and you said it in the open. There are concerns, right? There's sometimes an offensive line hole or a defensive line hole or a safety hole. But linebacker, almost a guarantee that they're just going to restock the next year. And it's really fun to just see who's it going to be. Who's the next All-American linebacker going to be for the Montana Grizzlies?
Well, I really don't think at this time last year, even in August, that we would have said Braxton Hill, Levi Janicaro, and Tyler Flink are going to be that core group all the way through. That the heart and soul of being a Grizzly linebacker certainly marinates and carries over through generations.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons for that continued success over the years is you're getting a lot of those blue-collar Montana-type guys that will buy their time, work their butt off in the program, come in as walk-ons, and then they're able to have success when they're juniors and seniors.
Well, and really, here's why. You take a look at the linebacking core right now. Let's see. Let's just go down. Asher Croy, we've talked about moving to running back, but, you know, Montana Kid and Leonard and Evans, yeah, the list went away there, of course. But, yeah, just, Sean, I guess I want to speak to that. The key is how many of those kids, and there's an interception.
It's tipped and picked off and taking it, weaving inside the 30, now the 20, welcome to the end zone, TJ Roush. He'll take it to the house.
TJ Roush, one of those sentinel safeties that we've talked about. Very gifted young man. And who tipped it, Riley? Did you see who got the tip?
It was over here on the edge. We'll get the number on this replay as Hewitt was firing. It was tipped by the running back, Bo Dantic.
Bo Dantic off his hands, and TJ Roush, right man in the right place. But, Sean, let's go back to that. How many of these young men were the best athlete at their high schools? And that's where Montana's maybe a little bit different, right, is because it's a small state. So you have some of these guys like a Braxton Hill. He's the leading, or one of the leading high school basketball scorers in the state of Montana's history. Just an incredible athlete, right? Does everything at Anaconda. Well, he's not a quarterback at this level, but he comes in with that athletic ability, that competitive ability, and he becomes an All-American linebacker. Patrick O'Connell, right, at Glacier. I mean, he was an
Levi Janicaro played
right at Big Sky.
Yeah.
And so you have all
Carson
these guys that are just the best football player. They're not going to come here and play quarterback, but they come here and become All-American linebackers, so the Griz will take them.
It's amazing how the stories and the careers get developed, and we could have a long list of the storybook endings that happen, it seems, with Grizzly players, Grizzly linebackers, Riley Corcoran, Grady Bennett, Sean Rainey. Happy you're with us here on the Griz spring game. As you can see, they've stopped the clock with 1 minute left, so there will be a 1 minute scenario here, and it will be fun for all of us to watch Kaylee Ayad out there with the #1 offense. You can see Aaron Font, Xavier Harris out in the slot, Keelan White's out there, Cole Grossman, the 5 projected starters on the offensive line, and The tailback is Stevie Rocker Jr. This will be fun here for the final minute. Zayat dancing around. Fired for Grossman, and guys, that might just be very simply those two not having many reps together as Grossman wasn't looking for it. It'll be 2nd and 10 as they stop the clock. This will be a true 1-minute scenario with 55 seconds to go.
Well, and you said it, Riley. This might be, you might be looking at the starting offense for the Montana Grizzlies when the fall kicks off. Ayat, I know right now, is probably a little motivated because the other 3 quarterbacks have all done some good things. He hasn't really got anything going yet sustained, so it'd be nice for him to put this 2-minute offense or 1-minute offensive drive together. Nice ball into the flat. Harris with the first down completion, and the clock's going to stop. It's a good job by Ayat.
Harris, a lot of space out there as you see him in the slot. Again, if you're just joining us late, no Junior Bergen for all of spring, so Harris has moved into that slot wide receiver, and we've seen him catch a lot of balls out of the backfield.
And a guy I think you got to give a lot of credit to because he came in as a very talented running back. He showed a lot of explosiveness and burst as a young guy. Didn't get as many reps as he probably wanted, but he was a good teammate. He stuck it out, and he's finding ways to get on the field. So kudos to him, and it's cool to see him out there making plays at a different position.
Well, and now in the same room as Ayat throws deep for Xavier Harris, and it's broken up late by Klusewicz. That saved a touchdown, but there you go. It's almost like they were listening to us, but Harris get him out in the open field. Ayat is a gunslinger. He's not afraid to let it fly in any scenario. I think that has to play a part in this as well with your top 3 receivers returning, and oh, by the way, you got Xavier Harris at your disposal.
Yeah, for sure, and that's one thing Coach Pease really did last year, open the offense up a little bit more. You saw more shots down the field, did a really good job of, again, developing Cliff McDowell, and Cliff was very effective throwing the ball deep down the field last year.
Ayat dancing around, now throws to Grossman, sheds a couple of tackles before he's wrangled down. Enough for a first down. They will stop the clock. Now there's some confusion whether it was complete or not. It looked like a catch, and then a timeout was whistled with 29 seconds left to go.
Yeah, I think that was actually an error by the PA guy because Grossman clearly caught it and ran with it for quite a while. So completed pass, first down. And again, Ayat, I know, really wants to have a nice drive here because I think the other quarterbacks have moved the ball pretty well. And so he'd like to finish this half with his team in the end zone, obviously, but at least get 3 points out of it.
4 more years of eligibility for Keali'i Ayat. He played in 4 regular season games. And those not familiar with the rule, all of the postseason games do not count towards that 4-game total. So every game he appeared in, including the national championship game, was protected. And so he redshirted 4 years of Keali'i Ayat. Logan Fife, who came in from Fresno State, he has 2 years of eligibility. We've talked about Caden Hewitt still with 3. So not only is the future bright for the Grizzly quarterbacks, but there's some time that they can develop together too as Ayat goes down the middle of the field this time for the end zone. It's again broken up. This time in coverage, Tyson Rosted able to get his hand on there. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
Well, both of those deep balls, great job by Ayat, just a little bit short. I love the read. He clearly is making the right decision. Just needs to get it out there a little bit more and let his receiver do the work and run to the football. But nice plays both by the defenders. Rostad that time, Klusewicz the time before.
At the 38-yard line, number 1 offense is out there. In the near side slot is B.J. Phillips wearing number 20. As Ayat will throw for the sideline, and it was nearly picked off by Elijah Brady. That's a redshirt freshman corner out of Seattle, Washington, West Seattle High School. He was in coverage wearing number 12.
Well, I'm really, really impressed. I mean, the left side is kind of been the concern, right? You lose really good players on the left side of that offensive line, but Panfaloff at left tackle, the transfer Johnson at left guard, really looking good. You have to have your weak side of your quarterback protected, obviously, so that's been a focus, but they're standing up well, look good so far. 4
receiver look. The running back is Rocker Jr. out there with Ayat. 3rd down and 10. Quick throw out to the far sideline. Aaron Fonz will get out of bounds. Clock will stop with 18 seconds left to go. So some situational football being executed here down to the final couple plays.
Well, nice job by Ayat right there, knowing he's got to get the first down, so run a quick stop route on the outside. Fonz is a guy you can count on to run his corner off, come back, get the first down, get out of bounds, stop the clock. Good job execution by both quarterback and receiver right there.
Ayat ready for it. Will throw for the corner of the end zone. It's again broken up late. They were looking for Aaron Fonts.
Well, that time he had Fonts on a corner route and just a little bit late with the ball. That's one where you're down there closer to the red zone, in the red zone. That ball's got to come out before Fonts makes his break. He waited till Fonts was already in the break, top of his route. Ball's going to be a little bit late, out of bounds.
Jelani Warren, the cornerback in coverage, wearing number 7, a transfer from UCLA, originally from Oakland, California. 13 seconds left for Ayat. Looking immediately to his left, a shorter throw. Fonts will scamper out of bounds. So now 9 seconds. Probably if we're pretending like this is a situation in September or October, Grady, probably one play here to operate before you bring the field goal unit out?
Yeah, I think you got one more shot. You probably take a shot to the end zone, and Ayat's going to do the right thing. You don't take a sack here for sure. You can't. If you're going to take a shot in the end zone, you got to make sure that only your guy can catch it. If nothing's there, man, get it out of bounds and give your field goal team a chance. So you got to have that internal clock. So a lot of things that Coach Pease and Coach Hauck are evaluating right now with Ayat.
3 receivers to the near side as Ayat's going to run up the middle. He is live, gets tackled down at the 1-yard line, but with no time remaining, and you better believe Coach Hauck will use that as a teaching moment as we will step aside for halftime. Don't go anywhere. Grizzly Spring Game here tonight on SWX.